Just like with Musa, when he came, the Bani Israel people, and they had been praying for centuries. You think it was a couple of years that they were Pharaoh's slaves? There were generations of people that were praying for someone to come to free them from the bondage they thought of Pharaoh, but it was the bondage of Shaitan. You can go from one physical Shaitan to another physical Shaitan if you don't understand that Shaitan is a spirit. It's a jinn. Very few people see jinn. Very few people recognize jinn. But in order to recognize jinn, we have to submit our will to guidance that comes in the person of someone, and that's just a tool and a part of the armamentarium for protection, to be able to see that we need to see in order to be what we need to be. So we're asking Allah for forgiveness and mercy here after woman out there, if you can find it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala khairil muslimin Muhammad Nabi ummi wa ahlihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. This humility that we spoke of is something that Shaitan sees as a weakness, because those humble people are under a divine orders and will, and they have to give. They have to give until Allah says, "Don't give." They cannot approach or do anything. Allah Almighty does everything of this world through them. When I say everything, I'm saying everything. Allah says the heavens and the earth cannot contain him, but the hearts of the believers can contain him. We think we believers because we said, I said it online and Allah says, don't you think you're going to believe and not be tested? Those people who becomes Allah Almighty's servants are tested. They are tested through their wealth, through their health, through everything, through their spouses, through their children, through their income, through everything. They are tested. And Allah said, Allah looks at their heart when He tests them. Who are they looking to? Who are they seeking refuge in? Are they seeking refuge in wine women's song or wine men's song or decadent behavior and cursing their Lord? Or are they submitting their will to Allah and says, oh Allah, there is no help except from you. If you have any good for me, any good, because all good comes from Allah. Who has that attitude, the mentality? Those who have that mentality in the heat of that pain of lack and decline, Allah raises. That's humility. Easily said than done. Watch next time we are tested, who we call on and what we call on. Do we seek refuge in our anger and take it in our own hands? Or do we resolve it through some alcohol or drug or deviant behavior to escape from the reality of that pain? Or do we seek refuge in Allah Almighty from the curse of the devil? So everybody's tested. It's like no one gets out of life alive. No one goes through this life without being tested. Musa was able to part the sea, Islam, but he was tested. Esau ibn Maryam was able to bring people back from the dead and bring the variant, a tablespoon from the heavens, but he was tested. Abraham was able to do what he did, and he was put in the fire and it didn't burn him, but he was tested. Noah built that ark in the midst of a place that it never rained, but he was tested. Jonah, the only people Allah Almighty never wiped out because of their disobedience, because the prophet left, repented, and because of that, they were regained. He had been tested. Look what Ayub was tested. His health, wealth, family, everything. Lost everything. Why do we think that we won't be tested? Why do we curse Allah Almighty when we're tested? Why do we leave our posts? We leave our posts like those Sahabas. Allah forgive them. And I pray and I prayed. I just hope that we're never like that. They left their posts for the world. They didn't fight their ego. And they went for the spoils of war. And they lost big time because now the Prophet was injured. Now the women had to fight to defend him. Can you imagine the humiliation? At that time, in that camp, Shaitan had a heyday. They were tested with that humiliation. We don't want to feel that. We don't want to experience that. We don't have to. That's only a choice. Hear and obey. Be good ones. Be sincere ones. So you'll be happy here and hereafter. وَمَنْ تَوْفِيقِ الْفَاتِحِ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. كمل الصلاة.